Hey YouTube, Grunt Reviews, we are back in the studio. This is one I've been kind of excited to do. Guys, this is our unboxing and tabletop on the SilencerCo Maxim 9 integrally suppressed pistol. Guys, as always, go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your thoughts, share us with your friends, and as always, guys, I've got a buy me a coffee link in the description. Feel free to help us out, and let's get into it. All right, so without further ado, this thing shipped in a exterior brown box, and then the inner box came in a Ziploc bag, and we will open up the actual firearm box itself. So, guys, we've seen this trend in most of our videos. All the manufacturers are going over to a cardboard box instead of a hard case. This is on the nicer side of the cardboard boxes. You do get the logo in there. It's got some armor wrap. We have the firearm itself in its grease bag here. All right. So we can see that this ships obviously with a chamber flag, and if you can tell from the, you can tell here it is a bit juicy. So we've got one mag in the firearm. We've got one more mag here. We have another layer of whatever that protective film is. We get the Allen wrench. Little plastic piece. That one I am going to have to check into to see what that is. A couple of rods. I'm assuming those are cleaning rods or related to suppressor service. The lock. And all the way in the bottom, we do get the instruction manual. So, I should mention the accessories do come in a nice little fabric sleeve here. I'm going to pack all this back up, and we're going to take a look at the firearm itself. All right, so due to the goo, we are going to give this thing a little bit of a wipe down here. I'm going to go ahead and pull the chamber flag out of it. We're going to pull the mag out of it. And we will we'll go ahead and start from front to rear. So obviously the first thing you'll notice is that this thing looks like the freaking gun from RoboCop. And the reason for that is it does have a suppressor built into it. So this actually technically ships with two serial numbers. There is a serial number for the suppressor itself, which obviously you'll do your form for and you'll pay your tax stamp on it. And then, of course, the serial number for the firearm as well. So it is all one unit. It just has two serial numbers on it. If you do want to purchase one of these, you will be paying an NFA stamp, and you will be going through your local SOT to make this happen. But obviously we have the suppressor up front. Looking at the top, we do have what appear to be some night sights, and obviously a nice long sight radius on there, which is always nice in a pistol. Do have an optics cut. Something I will mention in looking into this, the optics plates, they show 5 available on their website, but I believe only 2 of them actually are produced and exist. I think the RMR cut, and I'd have to look again, but there's one other one, so you are kind of limited in your optics choice. Something else to mention too, there is one holster that fits this thing. I believe it's made by Blackhawk. The downside is if you do choose to put an optic on it, you cannot use the holster as it comes up to about here. So someone didn't totally think that through. Working our way back, we of course do have the slide assembly. Let me go ahead and lock that to the rear. So essentially the slide is just the back half of the firearm, so it is basically a half slide with a fixed barrel there. We've got some very nice texture working our way down, and we do have some very nice serrations on both sides to get a good grip on that as well. Of course, this does have a dovetail in the rear. I would have to check, but it does look... Could be a 1911, could be a Glock cut there, but the sights are interchangeable. The unit itself, the slide unit, as you can see, rides on those two rails there. The actual frame itself has kind of an odd texture that may be a little bit hard to see. It's almost like a barcode, I guess is the best way to put it. Does have, of course, some finger grooves on it. No adjustable back strap there, but it does feel very nice. So the way they set that grip texture up puts your finger in a nice resting position on the frame there. Very easy to index your trigger finger there before you move it onto the trigger itself. Slide lock on this is, and I'll spin this around, is ambidextrous, so it does function from both sides. And now that I look at it, I believe my little extra plastic piece that came in here is for the magazine release. I'm assuming there's either an extended mag release, or that is to change it over to a left-hand shooter, if you will. The rest of the body here, all aluminum there, so it's all metal with that polymer frame on it. Trigger does have the traditional trigger dingus, if you will, for a striker fired type weapon. And something else I will point out that's kind of weird, instead of a pick rail or something a little bit more standard, they went with chemo on the bottom. I'm assuming that you can put a chemo rail section and mount a light on it. Not that this is a small handgun to begin with, but I think once you start adding accessories, it will add a ton of bulk to the front of it. Would have been nice if they had made that a standard pick rail or something a little more common usage, if you will. I'm definitely interested to see something different, but would prefer something a little bit more standard. Magazines, these are 17 round PMags for both of them, and this does accept standard Glock magazines, so obviously you can use the Glock 17 style and then the extended magazine or drum of your choice. Overall, for as big as this suppressor is, it's really not that front heavy, which is quite surprising. You would figure that this thing would be real nose heavy, but they actually did a very good job of making it well balanced. So when it's in your hand, my hands fit the finger grooves very well. It's a very intuitive grip. It's a nice high cut there, so you can really get a good high grip on it very easily. The side texture could be a little bit more aggressive. It's a hair on the smooth side. This is not something, most likely, weirder things have happened, that you're going to be concealed carrying. So this is definitely where I would say they could make this grip very, very aggressive, since this most likely will be in a duty style or OWB holster. Overall, sight's very easy to acquire. Does have that very long sight radius on it. And we will get to the part of this thing that I've shot a couple of these in the past that I don't like. The trigger on this thing is absolutely abysmal. For a $1,600 pistol or an $800 pistol with an $800 suppressor permanently attached to it, if that's how you'd like to look at it, the trigger just sucks. So we have a little bit of take up of our dingus there. Very hard, very notchy pull. We get on that wall. Very short break, so minimum over travel there. And then a little bit of a long reset. Very quiet on the reset. We're back on the wall. Notchy, 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 break. So it's real heavy. It could be worse. This is I'm going to call it a second gen. This is one of the later production models. They made a bunch of them, I believe, in 2020 or the beginning of 2021. So it is better than previous ones that I have used, but the trigger does still suck. For this kind of money, that is probably where I would recommend improvement. Guys, as always, we are going to pull out the handy dandy Lyman digital trigger gauge, and we're going to see what this thing weighs out at. So we'll get her nice and low there. Oh, probably helps to turn the gauge on. All right. All right, first pull, 6 pounds, 7.5 ounces. Second pull, 6 pounds, 7.7 ounces. Third pull, 6 pounds, 3.7 ounces. And that's getting it all the way at the bottom. I'll try one more, just a little bit higher up here. Yeah, and it obviously with a pendulum style trigger, it will increase the further you move up the trigger, but that is 7 pounds, 13.2 ounces. Overall, it's an interesting gun. It's just kind of unfinished. The concept is awesome. The look is awesome. The fit, finish, all of that looks good. It's just a lot of stuff that could have been improved, and especially, I believe these went out of production for a while and they came back for another run. You know, offering all the optics plates on it. Switching that over to a pick rail, just kind of some of the little stuff. Obviously putting a quality trigger in it. The downside to something like this, because of the tax stamp weight and the low production, there is not a ton of aftermarket for these yet. That may change in the future as these get into more hands. But as of right now, you basically get what you get out of the box. So we are going to take this out to the range. We're going to see how it shoots with some full power ammo, some subsonic ammo, see if it is hearing protection safe in this configuration. And honestly, I just want some more trigger time on one, so this one will be fun to shoot. Guys, as always, I do appreciate your time watching this. Stay safe, train hard.